Hey YouTube, it's Corlish1990, and today I have another Nightmare Before Christmas deck profile, and this one is for my Dr. Finkelstein deck, which is, like the other deck I posted, has a particularly strong theme around one surprise, which is Sackful of Mischief. And basically what this card does is you choose someone, you shuffle your deck, and then they cut it, and then if the top card of the deck is a creation, you get to play it for free. Yeah, as long as you don't have a copy of it in your town, because you can't have multiple of the same creation anyway. So this deck plays a ton of high-cost creations. Some of them we ignore their alternative ways to play them because we don't care. We want to get them in play off of this card, which I do run like a full spread of 4 of these. And yeah, it's pretty much all the deck does. I mean, it plays creations too. Organ donors, another way to cheat them into play. Making Christmas makes them cheaper, and so on and so forth. So I'll separate the deck up into different card types with the locations, the characters, creations, which this deck does play a fair amount of them. And then mainly though, this deck plays a lot of surprises. I will say the one caveat with this deck is you could replace all 4 of these with more characters, because this card is not a particularly fun card to play against. It's kind of like a Thoughtseize if you play Magic. Discarding cards out of people's hands and stuff is not... It's obviously very good, otherwise it wouldn't be played in other games, but it's not a feel-good card. So if you're looking for a more friendlier version of this deck, just add 4 copies of other characters. Maybe like the players or something. I don't know. That is my one suggestion for this deck, though. So for the locations, obviously want to play Finkelstein Hall. Draws cards, adds, average amount of pumpkin points, moves an average amount of cards. This is like the most average, basic starting location. You do get a hand size of 7, though, which is good. I think this is one of the highest starting hand sizes. We're also playing Castle Finkelstein. Has a high activation cost, but it adds 5 pumpkin points for discarding a card, which is, I think, one of the highest. A pumpkin patch might generate more. I can't remember off the top of my head. Laboratory, average amount, activation cost. You can search 5 for a creation, then add 3. Pretty good. Sally's Room is just a cheap activation cost for cheap pumpkin points, and you get to move some stuff around. Though this deck, you don't really care about moving around. The characters, when you play them where they're at, they're particularly going to stay there the whole game until your opponent deals with them. Scary Bed, because it goes into every single deck. Again, best location in the game, in my opinion. I don't even think that's an opinion. I just blatantly think it is. And then Town Square, a little higher than average cost, but it also generates 4 pumpkin points. Pretty good. So you just want to focus on locations that add you a lot of your resources, or search for the things that you're wanting to play. There's some other locations you can play if you're not looking for Sally's Room or whatever, but more often than not, those are the best ones that I found through testing. And now the characters. There's not a whole lot of characters in here. It's very just straightforward. So you play 4 of the Dr. Finkelstein. I run this one instead of the Ultra Rare one, just because while he's at the laboratory, you draw a card every time you play a creation. I think this one is just hands down better than the other one, where you can sacrifice your creations and play to draw cards equal to their scare cost, but the whole point of putting them in play is to have them in play, and creations are really hard to deal with in this game. There's very few ways you can get rid of creations. Searchlights and fire, those like 2 surprise card combos, pretty much the most effective way to do it, but it's also a pretty big dedication to play that, so I like this one a lot more. We don't play our creations for card advantage, we play them to win. Igor is just good. He's just good. Especially Dr. Finkelstein and some of the other surprises. Same with Jewel. It's also just very thematic, right? And then Sally and Jack. I play both of the ultra rare versions of them. They're not necessary, but I like Jack because he has a high scare value. You can play whichever Jack and Sally you want. I have all the ultra rares for the game in multiple play sets, so I like kind of making my decks as blingy as possible. Sally, she has a hex ability where you can discard a card to draw a card. And then motivational spooker Jack Skellington, you can discard a card from your hand to move a character to an adjacent locale, from his locale to an adjacent one. So it's like a free move effect. Again, not really needed, but it's there. They're also there for playing other creations for cheaper if you need to. Kind of fits in theme anyway. Decomposing Guy, just because he's good. Search 3 to draw a card, basically. Yeah. And the Corpse family, I would suggest maybe running another copy of Corpse Kid just to try and draw into it, but I cut him to try Monster Under the Stairs just because it's more card draw. This deck has a lot of card draw on it. But these 3 cards and 1/1 and maybe 2 to 3 copies of him, at least one of him, should be mandatory in almost every single deck. I think I do run them in all my decks, actually. Monster Under the Bed, again, it goes with Monster Under the Stairs, so you can generate even more points. And then, yes, it's Monster Under the Stairs. So any function performed at the locale he's at, you can discard a card to draw a card. There is Under the Stairs location as well. That draws you more cards, so you can end up drawing a bunch of cards with him if he's at his location, but I found that not needed. It was originally in this deck, but I had cut it for more resource generating locations. Now for the creations. This is why I play, or is it this one? One of these, there it is. This is the reason why I play Jack and Sally. They look very similar. But Town Square, if Jack's in the Town Square, you draw 7 cards when you play this. Dr. Finkelstein and Igor make this cheaper. Again, you don't really care, but it's there because it fits in theme. Same with this. Christmas supplies, we don't play the well or any of the ghosts, so this is purely here to get lucky off of Sackful of Mischief. Same with Halloween Town Bell. Takeoff Ramp, as well as another one of those. We don't play any of the characters on here. So again, these are all just generically good high-cost creations. These 3 are a little more specific. This one you give to your opponent. As you can see, it has -3. I also like how it is advertising the next expansion to this game, which never happened, which sucks because that would have been kind of cool to have 3 sets, but it is what it is. This one, everyone discards a character from the Halloween Town, so it's like removal. And then Eager Anaconda. What does he do? You may discard Corpse Dad or 2 other characters to reduce this creation cost by 3. It's there if you need it. Personally, I wouldn't, but it's there. It's a lot of creations. I want to say 2, 4, 6, 8, 10 out of 40 cards. You have a decent chance of hitting one off the top randomly. And now on to the surprises. Again, Sackful of Mischief, play 4 of these things. This is absolutely necessary for the deck. So you can build other copies of Dr. Finkelstein to not run this and just generate points and draw a lot of cards to just play as many creations as possible. I like being able to just cheat them into play. Though the deck already kind of does that anyway, but you can really go more dedicated into that strategy if you want. Oregon Donor is pretty cool as well. You can discard Finkelstein or 3 other characters from your Halloween Town to play a creation for free, and that happens for everyone. You would only ever play as if you have Finkelstein and maybe another copy of him in your hand, so you can replace him and get that free creation. Making Christmas is great. I love how this one is not a rare, but the one that's the exact opposite of this is a rare. I'll just point that out. And again, Mad Genius. Force an opponent to discard a random card from their hand, or if Finkelstein is at the laboratory, you get to look at their hand and discard any card of your choice. So, again, this card is just the one caveat to the deck, right? More characters or more creations. I play this for my testing, against my little group or myself, so no holding back, basically. But yeah, that is the deck tech. It's like a combo-y based deck, as combo-y as this game could probably get without using the Christmas Town and like all the elves and stuff. Very fun deck to play. It is very hit or miss though. You're either going to get lucky off a Sackful of Mischief and get a bunch of 6-cost creations to play, or you're going to whiff every time and you're just going to be dirtling while your opponent is actually playing the game. So let's keep that in mind if you decide to build this and then play it. Thank you all for watching. Again, I'll try to post a video tomorrow. I really am trying to do one every day this week. I'm probably going to do my Oogie Boogie deck, because that is my favorite deck that I have. But yeah, hopefully this content is helpful for people, and I'll catch you all next time. See ya.